Good morning. Today I'm full of my tablet always freezes like that when I start a live video. But I was saying, today I am full of gratitude. I'm grateful for this opportunity to study and practice, to love and share. This present moment is a wonderful moment. Today we're going to read from the Miracle of Mindfulness. This section is called The Essential Discipline. I'm just going to start reading. More than 30 years ago, when I first entered the monastery, the monks gave me a small book called The Essential Discipline for Daily Use, written by the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh from the Bao San Pagoda. And they told me to memorize it. It was a thin book. It couldn't have been more than 40 pages, but it contained all the thoughts Thich Nhat Hanh used to awaken his mind while doing any task. When he woke up in the morning, his first thought was, "Just awakened. I hope that every person will attain great awareness and see in complete clarity." It's funny, this morning I was having some kind of wild dream, and somebody outside, I heard him saying what I thought was, "Always, I'll live, I'll live." But then it turned out they were calling for their dog named Olive. But the way they were saying it, it sounded like, "Always, I'll live, I will live." I just thought that was funny. It was my first thought today. Thich Nhat Hanh, when he woke up, he thought, "Just awakened. I hope that every person will attain great awareness and see in complete clarity." And when he washed his hands, he used this thought to place himself in mindfulness. "Washing my hands, I hope that every person will have pure hands to receive reality." The book is comprised entirely of such sentences. Their goal was to help the beginning practitioner take hold of his own or her own consciousness. The Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh helped all of us young novices to practice, in a relatively easy way, those things which are taught in the Sutra of Mindfulness. Each time you put on your robe, washed the dishes, went to the bathroom, folded your mat, carried buckets of water, or brushed your teeth, you could use one of the thoughts from the book in order to take hold of your own consciousness. To be aware. The Sutra of Mindfulness, so there's a note here. In the sutras, Buddha usually teaches that one should use one's breath in order to achieve concentration. The sutra, which speaks about the use of your breath to maintain mindfulness, is the Anapanasati Sutta. This sutra was translated and commented on by a Vietnamese Zen master of Central Asian origin named Kung Tang Hoi, around the beginning of the 3rd century AD. Anapana means breath, and sati means mindfulness in Pali. Tang Hoi translated it as guarding the mind. The Anapanasati Sutra, that is, the sutra on using one's breath to maintain mindfulness. The sutra on breath to maintain mindfulness is the 118th sutra in the Majjhima Nikaya collection of sutras, or suttas, and it teaches 16 methods of using one's breath. But this sutra says, when walking, the practitioner must be conscious that she is walking. When sitting, the practitioner must be conscious that she is sitting. When lying down, the practitioner must be conscious that she is lying down. No matter what position one's body is in, the practitioner must be conscious of that position. Practicing thus, the practitioner lives in direct and constant mindfulness of the body. The mindfulness of the positions of one's body is not enough, however. We must be conscious of each breath, each movement, every thought and feeling, everything which has any relation to ourselves. But what is the purpose of the sutra's instruction? Where are we to find the time to practice such mindfulness? If you spend all day practicing mindfulness, how will there ever be enough time to do all the work that needs to be done to change and to build an alternative society? How does Alan manage to work? How does Alan manage to work, study Joey's lesson, take Anna's diapers to the laundromat, and practice mindfulness at the same time? The miracle is to walk on earth. So Thich Nhat Hanh is talking about his friend Alan, who is wondering how to incorporate mindfulness into daily life. Alan said that since he's begun to consider Joey's and Sue's time as his own, he has unlimited time. But perhaps he has it only in principle, because there are doubtless times when Alan forgets to consider Joey's time as his own time, while going over Joey's homework with him, and thus Alan may lose that time. Alan might hope for the time to pass quickly, or he may grow impatient because that time seems wasted to him, because it isn't his own time. And so, if he really wants unlimited time, he will have to keep alive the realization that this is my time throughout the time he's studying with Joey. But during such times, one's mind is inevitably distracted by other thoughts. And so if one really wants to keep one's consciousness alive, from now on I'll use the term mindfulness to refer to keeping one's consciousness alive to the present reality, then one must practice right now in one's daily life, not only during meditation sessions like this. When you are walking along a path leading into a village, you can practice mindfulness. Walking along a dirt path, surrounded by patches of green grass, if you practice mindfulness, you will experience that path, the path leading into the village. You practice by keeping this one thought alive. I'm walking along the path leading into the village. Whether it's sunny or rainy, whether the path is dry or wet, you keep that one thought, but not just repeating it like a machine, over and over again. Machine thinking is the opposite of mindfulness. If we're really engaged in mindfulness while walking along the path to the village, then we will consider the act of each step we take as an infinite wonder. And a joy will open our hearts like a flower, enabling us to enter the world of reality. I like to walk alone on country paths, rice plants and wild grasses on both sides, putting each foot down on the earth in mindfulness, knowing that I walk on the wondrous earth. In such moments, existence is a miraculous and mysterious reality. People usually consider walking on water or in thin air a miracle, but I think the real miracle is not to walk either on water or in thin air, but to walk on earth. Every day we are engaged in a miracle which we don't even recognize. A blue sky, white clouds, green leaves, the black curious eyes of a child, our own 2 eyes. All is a miracle. Sitting. Zen Master Doktae says that when sitting in meditation, one should sit upright, giving birth to this thought. Sitting here is like sitting on the Bodhi spot, where the Buddha attained enlightenment. The Bodhi spot is where Lord Buddha sat when he obtained enlightenment. If any person can become a Buddha, and the Buddhas are all those countless persons who have obtained enlightenment, then many have sat on the very spot I sit now. Sitting on the same spot as a Buddha gives rise to happiness, and sitting in mindfulness means itself to have become a Buddha. The poet Nguyen Kong Chu experienced the same thing when he sat down on a certain spot and suddenly saw how others had sat on the same spot countless ages ago, and how in ages to come others would also come to sit there. On the same spot I sit today, this is his poem. On the same spot I sit today, others came in ages past to sit. 1,000 years, still others will come. Who is the singer, and who is the listener? That spot and the minutes he spent there became a link in eternal reality. But active, concerned people don't have time to spend leisurely walking along paths of green grass and sitting beneath trees. Or do they? One must prepare projects, consult with neighbors, try to resolve a million difficulties. There is hard work to do. One must deal with every kind of hardship, every moment keeping one's attention focused on the work, alert, ready to handle the situation ably and intelligently. We are engaged Buddhists. You might well ask, then how are we to practice mindfulness? My answer is, keep your attention focused on the work. Be engaged. Be alert and ready to handle ably and intelligently any situation which may arise. This is mindfulness. There is no reason why mindfulness should be different from focusing all one's attention on one's work. To be alert and to be using one's best judgment. During the moment one is consulting, resolving, and dealing with whatever arises, a calm heart and self-control are necessary if one is to obtain good results. Anyone can see that. If we are not in control of ourselves, but instead let our impatience or anger interfere, then our work is no longer of any value. Mindfulness is the miracle by which we master and restore ourselves. Consider, for example, a magician who cuts his body into many parts and places each part in a different region. Hands in the south, arms in the east, legs in the north, and then by some miraculous power lets forth a cry which resembles whole, or which reassembles whole every part of his body. So the parts of the body are spread all over the different regions, but then there's some cry which the magician uses to bring all those parts back to create a whole body. Mindfulness is like that. It is the miracle which can call back in a flash our dispersed mind and restore it to wholeness so that we can live each minute of life, taking hold of one's breath. Hello. Thus, mindfulness is at the same time a means and an end, the seed and the fruit. When we practice mindfulness in order to build up concentration, mindfulness is a seed. But mindfulness itself is the life of awareness. The presence of mindfulness means the presence of life. And therefore mindfulness is also the fruit. Mindfulness frees us of forgetfulness and dispersion, and makes it possible to live fully each minute of life. Mindfulness enables us to live. You should know how to breathe to maintain mindfulness, as breathing is a natural and extremely effective tool, which can prevent dispersion. Breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. Whenever your mind becomes scattered, use your breath as the means to take hold of your mind again. Breathe in lightly a fairly long breath, conscious of the fact that you are inhaling a deep breath. Now breathe out all the breath in your lungs, remaining conscious the whole time of the exhalation. The Sutra of Mindfulness teaches the method to take hold of one's breath in the following manner. Be ever mindful you breathe in, and mindful you breathe out. Breathing in a long breath, you know, I am breathing in a long breath. Breathing out a long breath, you know, I am breathing out a long breath. Breathing in a short breath, you would know, I am breathing in a short breath. Breathing out a short breath, you would know, I am breathing out a short breath. Experiencing a whole breath body, I shall breathe in. Thus you train yourself. Experiencing the whole breath body, I shall breathe out. Thus you train yourself, calming the activity of the breath body. I shall breathe in. Thus you train yourself, calming the activity of the breath body. I shall breathe out. Thus you train yourself. In a Buddhist monastery, everyone learns to use breath as a tool to stop mental dispersion and to build up concentration power. Concentration power is the strength which comes from practicing mindfulness. It is the concentration which can help one obtain the Great Awakening. When a worker takes hold of his own breath, he has already become awakened. In order to maintain mindfulness throughout a long period, we must continue to watch our breath. So now we're done reading. Now it's time to watch the breath. Mindful of the breath, aware of the in and out motion of the breath, aware of the whole breath body, calming the whole breath body. Calming body, thinking, feelings, consciousness. This practice is explained in detail in the Anapanasati Sutta and elsewhere. But here, we just focus on the breath, conscious of the breath, and we let the practice unfold in its own way. We will experience the various aspects described by the Buddha if we simply continue to be curious about the breath, aware of the breath beyond thinking about the breath. We note the breath however it arises, wherever it arises. Maybe we notice it at the tip of our nose, or down our throats, or into our bellies. Maybe we notice it in our mindful of the breath, and our attention will deviate. Thoughts will come up. Feelings will call for attention. Sensations, perceptions. And that's perfectly normal and good. The practice is to note that. Touch it. They're like bubbles. Slightly touching them, they pop. They're already impermanent. It's our struggle against them that recreates them and perpetuates them. We simply note them and return to the breath. Simple and profound. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. In, out. Short or long, I know is short or long in-breath. As short or long. I know the out-breath, I know its quality as short or long. Directly experiencing the in-breath, I breathe in. Directly experiencing the out-breath, I breathe out. I know, GNO, the in-breath. I know, GNO, the out-breath. Direct experiential understanding of the in-breath. Direct experiential understanding of the out-breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. In. And out. And we just repeat. Coming closer and closer, returning again and again to the direct experience of the breath.